for me. I couldn't believe it. Total skeptic. There was no way this was going to work for them. This was no way this was going to work for me. This couldn't be the answer to everything I needed. So I spent 6 months studying it and being a skeptic, asking for studies, asking to meet the people who are using this system and having success, because I just did not believe it. Well, after 6 months, I literally could not find a reason to not believe in it anymore. There was too much good science behind it. And I am a science nerd. I couldn't find any problems. So I ordered it for myself. I got it in my life. And within 4 months, I was off all 3 prescriptions for the first time since I was 24 years old. At the age of 43, I was on 0 prescriptions. The 2 blood pressure medications and the omeprazole I'd been on for over 15 years, gone. All the hormone issues I had with a period every 2 weeks and then every 2 months and all over the place, regulated. Sleeping through the night, mood completely changed, literally not needing prescriptions anymore. Then I also, on top of it, had a solution for my friends who were coming into the pharmacy saying, I can't tolerate the side effects from my medicine, for my blood sugar, for my weight loss. Can you help me? Yes, I can help you. This is why I come on here and talk about this stuff. This is why I'm so passionate about this. It has completely changed my life. And now it is changing the lives of my friends, of my family, literally anyone who will listen to me for 5 minutes, because this is what I'm talking about 24/7. So I don't want to waste any of your time today, guys, because time is precious. But I want to show you the science that got me excited, the science that got me to start paying attention and say, hey, this might actually work. This is what talked me into getting it into my life. So I'm going to bring up my little presentation. I created a presentation for you guys. Let me just get on some screen sharing here. And we will pull up the presentation and go right into it. You guys, this is the science. I am a science nerd. I really, truly am. And this stuff is just beyond exciting to me. So let's talk about the nerd stuff. Fasting, yerba mate, and balance. All right, number 1, I love stats and I love studies. Nerd alert right here, guys. In 2016, about 17% of adults were considered healthy. 17%. That's where we were at. Now, in less than 10 years, we've gone from that 17 down to 7. 93% of North Americans are completely metabolically unhealthy. They either have weight issues, blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, fatty liver, one of these or more, making them considered metabolically unhealthy. These numbers are staggering. Even more so, 50% of adults have insulin resistance. Now, I've seen these numbers go as high as 88%. Dr. Bickman claims that in 2024, a study came out that 88% of Americans have some form of insulin resistance. And I'm telling you Americans, but let me tell you globally, insulin resistance is a problem. It's not Americans alone. This is a global epidemic. And this whole insulin resistance thing, it isn't new. Like I just told you, I heard the words insulin resistance for the first time from a truck driver on TikTok. Yet, if you look at this study right here, insulin resistance has been being studied as a leading cause of cardiovascular disease since August of 2000. Scientists knew back in the year 2000, 25 years ago, that this whole insulin resistance was a problem. It was the leading cause of heart attacks and strokes here in America. So many of us didn't know that. That's back when I was in school, and we weren't taught that at all. Not even a phrase that was used, insulin resistance. So what is it? Well, insulin resistance ends up, it comes from these sort of symptoms. If you're suffering from these symptoms, let's be honest, put it in the chat, guys. If you have any of these symptoms, because you're more than likely have insulin resistance. For instance, if you're always hungry, if it's just really difficult to lose weight, you have cravings for sugar and salt all the time, the headaches, the migraines, the aches and pains and inflammations, that swelling, low energy, fatigue, hard belly fat, you eat a meal, 2 hours later, you're still hungry again, all right? And those are all symptoms that most likely you have insulin resistance. And like we said, 93% of Americans metabolically insufficient, 88% some form of insulin resistance. Let's be honest, more than likely you have at least one of these things. Here's the problem. Insulin resistance is the leading cause of or the contributing factor to every chronic disease that exists. All of them. Don't believe me? Go down that rabbit hole. Type in whatever issue you have in the words insulin resistance and watch all the things pop up. Heart disease, diabetes, body fat issues and obesity, migraines, depression, dementia, ED, PCOS, fatty liver, even cancer. All have studies related to or caused by insulin resistance. This is a serious problem, but where's it coming from? It's coming from our food, you guys. It's coming from our food. 70% of our grocery store is full of ultra processed food. It's junk. It's not even food. We're getting nanoplastics in there, the dyes, the colors, the preservatives. We're getting junk. And it's not even food. It's not nutrient dense, no macros, no micronutrients, literally no nutrition. And our natural stuff isn't even natural anymore. You guys, just because it says natural or organic or whatever on the front of the label, you got to flip it over and look at the ingredients. Because it'll say natural on the front. You look on the back, it's added sugar. What is sugar? Well, it's that addictive thing that makes you crave more sugar and more food. Extra sugar, salt, and fat is added to everything. So it's really not your fault that you have been sucked into this modern food environment and become addicted to our food. The truth is, 93% of Americans are failing at being healthy. And if you want to look at this from a different direction, look at it as if your kid was in school. And let's say you sat down with the teacher for your yearly conference and the teacher said, well, 93% of the students are failing this year. Now, would you assume you need to go home and scold your child for failing class? Or would you assume you needed to scold the teacher, the principal, the school system? Because all of the children are basically failing, right? It's the same sort of thing here. 93% of us are failing at getting healthy food into our bodies. So is that our fault or is that the system's fault? It's our environment. We're surrounded by all of this extra sugar, salt, and fat, and this sugar is so addictive, you guys. It's so addictive. It's in every street corner. It's at every gas station. It's filling our grocery store. So this insulin resistance problem, the basics of it are, we're eating way too many carbs. We're eating way too much added sugar. We're eating way too often. And we're eating way too much. We're supersizing everything, guys. And I think you've known that for a long time. So this is where we talk about the insulin, where the insulin resistance really comes from. Well, this is the typical American diet. You wake up first thing in the morning. At least this is what I used to do 2 years ago. I'd have the bagel and cream cheese, the coffee with the cream and sugar, spiking my blood sugar right away in the morning. These brown arrows are indicative of a sugar spike from sugar or carbohydrates. Carbs break straight down into sugar in your gut. So with that bagel and cream cheese and coffee with cream and sugar in the morning, I'm spiking my blood sugar. Now here's what happens. Your blood sugar spikes quickly in an hour and crashes in 2. If you have a very high sugary meal, it's going to spike in an hour, crash down in 2, and then you're going to crave more sugar. Sounds familiar for anybody? Anyone? Hands up. So this is the typical American diet. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner most often with some sort of sugar or carbs in it. The Jimmy John's sandwich for lunch, the pasta and the garlic bread for dinner, right? And we're having snacks in between. How many of you have a snack between breakfast and lunch? Have that snack between lunch and dinner. I always did. I'd grab a coffee with cream and sugar. I'd grab a little bag of chips. I'd be chewing on some candies. All of these increase your blood sugar load. And when the sugar goes into your blood, your pancreas releases insulin to lower that blood sugar level. Well, here's the problem. Insulin works great to get the blood sugar out of the blood and into the cell to protect your bloodstream. Because if your blood sugar is high, your blood is very, very thick and viscous, and it does damage to all the little arteries in the vessels. That's why diabetics have vision problems, dementia, neuropathy and amputations, heart attacks, and strokes. That's where it comes from. So your body's protecting you with beautiful insulin, releases that insulin to get that down. The problem is insulin, although your blood sugar goes up in an hour and down in 2, the insulin goes up and comes down over 3 to 4 hours, a little bit longer. If you have a very sugar and carb dense meal, it can take 8 to 10 hours to come down. So if you're eating like this, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, 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 your insulin becomes cumulative, just growing and growing and growing. Now, over a day's time, this is not a big deal. Over years of time, which, let's be honest, how many of us eat like this every day? Over years of time, this leads to insulin resistance. The insulin levels are high for too long. All of a sudden, your body keeps dumping more and more insulin in to get the sugar out of the bloodstream and into the cells, or can be stored later for energy. And guess what? The insulin receptors get overbogged, overexhausted, they stop working. They just stop working. Now the insulin receptors are shut down at the cellular level. The insulin levels are rising. The blood sugar levels are rising. Now you're pre-diabetic. Now you're diabetic. This is why diabetes is an epidemic. It's because of how we're eating and what we're eating. So if we know what the problem is, how do we solve it? Easy, right? Don't eat as often, cut that frequency down. Don't eat carbs, don't eat sugar. Easy, right? So if I tell you that, you go to the doctor's office and they say, don't eat as much, don't eat as often, skip the carbs and the sugar. You can just say, oh, no problem, doc. I don't want to be on meds. I'll just stop all of that junk tomorrow, right? Super, super easy, right? No, of course not. If this was easy, obesity wouldn't be an epidemic in America because we all know we need to eat healthy. We're just not doing it. And we're addicted to the modern food environment. We're addicted to all that extra sugar. So what if I told you that there was a hormone that is very key to helping you feel less hungry, fuller longer, and reverses that insulin problem, can help you reverse that? Well, there is. And it's called GLP, glucagon-like peptide. And GLP is a hormone that is released naturally from the cells of the small intestine and the colon in response to good food. Not just food, good food. Now, this hormone will signal from the gut to the brain that you're not hungry so that you don't need to eat. Now, there's only 3 things that raise the GLP. It's water, good nutrition, and exercise. So again, if you go to the doctor's office and the doctor says, okay, I'm hungry all the time, I'm not feeling well, the doctor just tells you, all right, drink a lot of water, eat all the right food, and get some exercise. You won't feel hungry anymore. No problem, right? No problem. Except for we're addicted to the sugar. Except for we don't have time to work out all the time. Except for we're eating on the run and not necessarily getting the perfect nutrition, right? I mean, let's be honest. It's 2025, guys. The world has changed. So people ask me all the time, how can I fix this GLP imbalance? Well, the good food that raises the GLP is your fiber, your protein, and your healthy fats. Getting those in your life are going to help you feel fuller longer. Versus junk food, high fat food, sugary food, alcohol, especially mixed with fats, spicy, greasy, very acidic foods, all have been scientifically proven to lower the GLP level. So what that means is when you eat these foods, you are hungrier faster. So if you decide to eat a bag of Doritos for dinner, an hour later, you're probably going to be craving more food. That's exactly how this works. It doesn't fill you up at all. It actually signals your brain to want more. So from here, how can we fix this GLP problem a little easier, right? Who's heard of the GLP-1 craze, the Ozempics, the Mounjaros, the Zepbounds, semaglutide, right? Who's heard of them? Who's tried them? Who knows friends who are on them or who have tried them? I'm sure at this point, we're all paying attention. We know the celebrities have used them. Friends and family are using them. There are millions of people on these medications right now. So let's talk about them, right? If you go on social media, if you go on TikTok, Facebook, literally anywhere, you are going to see the media telling you, get the injection. It is the easy button. Get the shot. And there are some pros to it, all right? When these first came out, couple of years ago, and reps came to the pharmacy and they explained all this stuff to me. The science was beautiful. It was incredible. It increases the insulin sensitivity, reversing insulin resistance, right? It quiets the food noise so you're not as hungry. It slows the gastric emptying, making you feel fuller, longer. It activates the satiety part of your brain so you're more satisfied with a meal. And it causes weight loss, right? The big five, the 5 things that you really need in your life, you can get from the injection. Sounds like the perfect medication. They sold it to us in the pharmacy that every single American needs to be on a GLP and needs to be on a GLP for a lifetime because they're that amazing. Here's the problem. There is a laundry list of side effects, and I mean a list. And every year that goes by, they're adding more and more and more to this list. The vomiting, the diarrhea, the gastroparesis. I personally know someone who had to have part of their intestines removed from this medication. The bowel obstructions, muscle loss. 40% of the weight loss is lean muscle mass. Unless you're working with a personal trainer, eating the 100 grams plus of protein a day, you're going to lose muscle mass far more than any other diet using the injection. Plus the kidney failure, the sudden vision loss, people waking up blind, the allergic reactions, the blood clots, thyroid cancer. It's super expensive. If your insurance pays for it, you're good. But do you think they're going to pay for it for the rest of your life? I mean, they change what they pay for each and every year. You know this. It's expensive. $1,200 to $1,500 out of pocket per month. And it's long-term. It's a forever drug. You're on it forever because the studies have shown us that after 2 years of using them, the food noise returns, the activity in the GLP goes down. That's why the doses keep going up. And if you quit taking them, the weight loss usually comes back within 2 years. Also, the newest studies that just came out last year show it shrinks heart cells, bone loss, osteoporosis, the list goes on. You guys, I could talk about these for hours. There's just so much that has come out just in the last 2 years alone. So if these aren't the answer, but the GLP is the problem, what can we use instead? Here's what we got, guys. Our beautiful Unimate yerba mate tea. This extract is absolutely incredible. It's incredible. It is raising that beautiful GLP with good nutrition, without the side effects, without the problems. We have studies now that have scientifically proven that this GLP is raised by 50% by the foluric acid alone. And that's just one constituent of the tea. One constituent. Now, the pros of the yerba mate is it does all the 5 same things that the Ozempic and the Mounjaro and the Zepbound do. It just does it a little better because you don't get the side effects. Now, in the last 5 years, we've seen all the side effect profile keep going up and up and up with these injections. This tea has been out longer than that, and you're not seeing the studies and you're not seeing it in the news. You want to know why? Because it's not causing the problems. It's not causing the problems. So it does all 5 things that those injections does. It just does it better. Then it contains chlorogenic acid, which is absolutely wonderful antioxidant. It's wonderful. It reduces insulin resistance as well. It is cardioprotective, protective to the heart, increases that fat burning by 24% for the first 2 hours of the day when you drink it in the fasted state. And it's a mood enhancer. Who does not need that, right? It also contains saponins that are anti-inflammatory. I get stories about the inflammation benefits week 1 every single week. I'm telling you guys, people are reaching out to me with that. It's a potent antioxidant. It also helps lower cholesterol. Studies have shown it may prevent colon cancer, and it also stimulates the immune system. Now, right here down at the bottom left, you're going to see our patented process. This is how you know the yerba mate that you get at the gas station in a little can is not the same as the extract that you're getting right here. Our extract goes through a patented process. Patented as in no one can do it the same as we do it. That's why we can show we have more chlorogenic acid. That's how we can show we have more saponins. That's how we can show we have more of that foluric acid. That's how we can show we have more of the theobromine. And I'm just getting to that. We hand pick it, we fire roast it, extract it, concentrate it, and get it into that little packet and get it to you. So, a couple more benefits, right? How about a mood boost? Who needs a mood boost from time to time? The theobromine in here naturally occurring in the tea. Now, when I'm talking about the chlorogenic acid, ferulic acid, theobromine, these are not like weird synthetics added to the tea. These are naturally occurring chemical constituents of the tea leaf. Now, that theobromine boosts the mood, promotes feelings of calm, focus, fights fatigue. But our tea as well naturally has all these vitamins and nutrients. A, the B's, C, E, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, electrolyte, right? Sulfur, zinc, and on and on and on. They call this a drink of the gods in Argentina for a reason. That's where these tea leaves are grown, in Argentina. They call it liquid gold for a reason. It has every little micronutrient to sustain life. And if I could just tell you a couple tiny more little tidbits of great information about this, is our beautiful yerba mate also works on the hormone leptin. Have you heard of leptin resistance? I've had patients reaching out to me now who are saying their doctors are telling them they're leptin resistant. Basically, their body is telling them to put on fat, to store sugar in the fat cells, even though they have plenty of fat storage. This is a problem, especially for women in their 40s and 50s. As us women age, especially, and I'm not negating you men, this happens to you too, but with women, it's especially a problem. Leptin, ghrelin, all right, the GLP, these hormones get depleted as we get older. We do not have as much of them, and they get skewed in their numbers. And leptin is one of those things. So this tea itself can help balance that leptin problem, which will lead to an appetite suppressing effect. Just one more. We also have the ghrelin. Ghrelin is one of those other hormones that we struggle with as we age, all right? Studies have shown that this yerba mate extract lowers ghrelin, the hunger hormone. This is so important because ghrelin signals the hypothalamus to increase your appetite and promote fat storage, makes you store fat for fuel, right? We can balance that ghrelin. We don't have this issue. This is balancing so many different hormones in the body, you guys. Now, when I talk about the good, I always talk about the bad, right? There's pros and cons to everything. I'll be honest with you though. The cons to the yerba mate are more like discussion points. They're kind of sort of cons. So it increases urination. Basically, it's flushing your kidneys the beautiful way you want your body to do that, but it does mean you have to go to the bathroom more often, right? Dry mouth can be an issue if you're dehydrated and not drinking enough water. So the dry mouth is kind of a good thing if you ask me, because it's reminding you that you need to drink more water. And if you drink more water, the dry mouth goes away. There is a cost to it. Okay, you can use your HSA and FSA now, but there's a cost. So you have to realize that the money that you are going to save, right? Switching what you are eating less food, eating less often, you're going to switch that money over to using the supplement. Now there's some caffeine in it. If you're very caffeine sensitive, you need to drink this slow. This is a sipping tea, not a slamming tea. It has stevia in it. Every once in a while, someone will tell me they don't like stevia. Stevia does not increase your insulin or your sugar or anything like that. And it lasts 4 to 6 hours. That's why we have to drink it twice a day. So we've talked about the hormones. We've talked about what you can drink to make you feel less hungry, so you have less cravings. But what about the carbs? Carbs are a major problem for us. Over 70% of the calories consumed worldwide are carbs. They're carbs. Now, fat does not raise your blood sugar, does not raise your insulin load. Fat does not put on fat, all right? But protein, so much more healthy for you. Does have a little bit of a sugar spike, a little bit of an insulin spike, can be very negligible. Then there's those carbs. Carbs break down right to sugar, you guys. They break down right into sugar. Even if they're nature's carbs, you're going to get sugar in your bloodstream, and that is where we're getting that big insulin impact. So what can we do? Well, the second part of our little system here is balance fiber. And balance does just that. They gave it the perfect name. It balances the sugar and the carbs in your diet. We have 4 different patents on our fiber matrix because it works that well. We don't want anyone else to steal our magic, right? It's going to help with regularity. It's going to help reduce the amount of dietary cholesterol. So I always explain this to my team as eating a big bowl of super nutrient dense fiber right before your meal. That fiber in the balance binds to the sugar and the carbs in your meal, 43% less sugar spike. This isn't like Metamucil. This isn't like Benefiber that you always saw grandma used to drink just for some constipation and all those kinds of things. Our fiber matrix is full of vitamins and nutrients. It's full of phytosterols. It has scientific studies from Cleveland Clinic, University of Sydney, UNLV. It's Health Canada approved. And with all of that, it shows those phytosterols coat the gut, provide this viscous coating on the gut so you don't absorb all that dietary cholesterol, binds to the sugar and the carbs so you don't get the sugar spike that you used to. Sugar spikes are lower, means your insulin load is lower. You understand what I'm getting at? We can keep that carb load lower. This is magic for our body. That fiber expands 4 times in your gut. So what does that mean? You eat less food. This allows you to not need the super huge meals. This is incredible. I used to go through the drive-thru and get the Culver's burger. I'd get the burger, the cheese curds, and the soda. Since this system, I still go through and get that burger from time to time. I love it. Not ever giving up my Culver's burger. Not going to happen. I have the balance. I drink the balance before I eat the burger. It coats my gut, blocks some of the dietary cholesterol there, binds to the sugar and the carbs and the bun and all the junk there. I don't necessarily need in my diet, right? Keeps my sugar spike lower, keeps me fuller, faster. So now I don't have to buy the cheese curds. I just get the burger. And heck, I don't drink that pop anymore. I have Unimate. I've got vitamins and nutrients. I only spend my money on the good stuff. So the balance, vitamin, nutrient, dense, tastes amazing. We got the 2 flavors, the orange and the berry, and I love them both. I can sit there and sip on them like a Slurpee. Anybody else just absolutely love the flavor now that they've gotten used to it? I know I do. So like we said before, this is the modern food environment. Sugar, 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 insulin, 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 versus using our system. And this is exactly how you use it. You're going to drink the tea for breakfast. Why? This is all the vitamins and the nutrients and all the good stuff that you need. Yes, that's my coffee cup right there. I drink out of it every single day, but you're never going to see coffee in it. You're going to see Unimate. I make my Unimate extract. I drink it for breakfast. It's going to increase that GLP for 4 to 6 hours. I'm going to make 80% more ketones and burn 24% more fat for fuel in the fasted state. It's incredible. Energy is up, feeling phenomenal, cravings down. I'm not hungry. So guess what happens? I skip that morning snack. I go all morning without taking any macros until I get to lunchtime. It feels amazing. Those ketones fuel my brain. Do you think skipping breakfast is hard? You haven't tried the Unimate yet. So at lunchtime and in dinner, I have the beautiful balanced fiber. I can mix half before lunch, half before dinner. If I'm going to have a carb-dense lunch and dinner, I'll do a whole packet of balance. What I try to do personally is have a low-carb or no-carb lunch and allow myself whatever I want for dinner. It's just I'm going to drink the balance before, so I'm not going to eat quite so much. Can still eat the good stuff, just not in excess. And that's the magic with the system. It works so well to help curb the huge meals, to help curb the needs for the snacking all the time. Between lunch and dinner, if I'm craving anything at all to eat, I drink my second tea. I just get my second tea on board as soon as I've had my lunch. I start sipping on it right then and there, and it keeps me from craving all afternoon. It's wonderful. Now look at the difference here, guys, from before. When your insulin is high, you can't burn fat for fuel. You're only a sugar burner. When your insulin is at baseline, you can eat your love handles. You can burn up this fuel source. So guess what? All this breakfast time, I'm not consuming food. What am I consuming? I'm consuming my love handles. I'm consuming the excess from the night before, and that's called metabolic flexibility, and that's what this system can do for you. This is what you need in your life. So what is it doing? Basically, we're using this system to promote intermittent fasting, the 16 and 8. I quit eating at 8 p.m. I don't eat again until noon the next day. And it's simple with these tools. It is so simple. If you'd asked me 2 years ago, I would have laughed in your face about fasting. There's no way I could have done it. These tools make it easy. So when you don't eat for that little period of time, your body basically runs out of sugar in the morning, and it has to reach into your liver and reach into your fat in order to get that energy source so you can keep going through the day. It's wonderful magic for your body. It's called metabolic switching, going from a sugar burning to a fat burning system. And when that fat is broken down, it releases fatty acids. These are called ketones. These ketones are a precious energy source to your brain. Your brain works off 50% sugar, 50% ketones. You got plenty of sugar in your storage. You need to make the ketones. Less meals also means less inflammation. You go from eating 6 meals a day, as in 3 meals and 3 snacks, to eating 2 meals a day and no snacks. The inflammation goes way down quickly. I'm seeing it over and over and over again. That's the first thing people notice. And time without eating causes those sugar addicted bacteria in your gut to die off. If you're not eating food, the sugar addicted bacteria has nothing to eat. So guess what? Instead, you're eating that prebiotic balance. That's what that balance is. It's a potent prebiotic. It feeds the good part of your microbiome, the probiotics, to grow, to thrive, to flourish. Simple, simple, simple. You're a fat burner first thing in the morning. The food noise is quieted. You bump up your water intake with this, getting the hydration your body needs. Ketones up, fat burning up. It's fabulous. Here's the best part. These tools, this is a customizable system. If you're trying to gain muscles like my fiance and you're in the gym lifting huge heavy weights, drink the Unimate as a pre-workout. Amazing, increasing the oxygen to the muscles. If you're in menopause, hormone imbalances, this is going to help you with the leptin resistance, with the ghrelin problems, with the insulin resistance problems, reverse those so you can balance your hormones. All of our hormones are connected, you guys. If you're an OMAD girly or guy and you're in a plateau where you can't lose weight anymore, this is a way to change it up. This is a way to customize exactly what you need for you. It helps with speedy weight loss, lowering that blood sugar, fatty liver detox. I have so many clients now detoxing their fatty liver. 40% of Americans have fatty liver disease, guys, and that's sugar that's been stored, excess sugar that's been stored as triglycerides in your liver. You can reverse that with this system. It's going to boost your energy and it's going to help you regulate that sleep. So this is part of my team. I'm so proud of them. In these pictures, you are seeing hundreds of pounds of weight gone. You are seeing dozens and dozens of medications that no longer need to be taken. You are seeing chronic disease reversed. You are seeing Stephen, who's reversed type 2 diabetes. You've seen Larry, who's post-heart transplant, lost over 100 pounds, has lost 800 pounds and has gotten off all of his medication. His wife, Connie, has lost over 100 pounds. You've seen me, who's completely changed my menopause symptoms from hot mess express to regulated. You see Sam and Angel, who both were on a CPAP machine. Sam used to walk around with oxygen on 24/7, both no longer using the CPAP, no oxygen anymore. And the stories go on and on and on. So I'm going to bring it back into Karen because I believe she brought some friends here to share some of their personal stories with us today. Thank you so much, everyone, for sticking with it and listening. I appreciate you all.
Oh my God, Jennifer, you are so, the chat box, I'll just let you know, if you can see it, it's just going off. Everyone loves your calls. We love the signs that you bring. We really appreciate everything that you do for us. And I'm sad that we only get to have you for one more time after this. I mean, maybe we'll bring you back. I don't know. We'll see, right? If you guys want her to come back, we'll definitely bring her back again. But I wanted to actually bring on a few of our friends here. First person I want to bring on is Gary. Gary and Gina, a couple that have had the incredible health transformation. Gary, actually, I'm going to get you to unmute yourself. I'm going to add you to the spotlight here. If you could actually, one second, I think you can probably unmute now. Tell us, how's the system been for you? Why did you get started on the system? What made you start? And tell us your story. Oh, one second. Let me just, hold on. It won't let you mute. Okay. How about now?
There we go.
There we go.
Can't keep me silent forever.
Awesome. Gary, thank you for joining us. I wanted you to tell us what brought you to the Feel Great system and what did it do for you?
Yeah, so last year, well, for quite a while, I'll give you a quick backstory. I was pre-diabetic since 2010 up to 2021, not doing anything about it because I didn't feel any different other than being obese all these years. And then 2021, diagnosed formally type 2 diabetic and chronic diabetic, didn't know about it, and continued to just escalate, right, to a point that my doctor put me on medications. Um, come up to August of last year on ribolysis and metformin, high blood pressure medication, lots going on, starting to have a lot of chronic issues, and then happened to be scrolling a truck driver and learned about the products. And like a little skeptical at first. I knew I was sick, didn't know anything about the disease really, where it began, other than this spoke to myself, and I just give it a whirl. And so I'll show you a picture in a minute. Pretty quick, I went from 10.21C when I was tested, fasted, a lot of to 90 days later to my doctor's shop because he still wanted to up my medications and wasn't supportive of the program. In 90 days, I went down to 6.5 A1C. 120 days, I was down to mid fives. So at that point, that took me into diabetic remission, got my options. My blood pressure's back to normal. My is five, so I'm now, some people say, I say it's in remission. I'm not sure within that time as well. I'm down a total of 70 pounds on my 100. So the system every day is getting me to a place of feeling much better. Some of the things that I was dealing with that I've been able to subside. I had a lot of side effects from the medications. So for me, it was a lot of constipation, a lot of eye issues, a lot of nausea, and getting off all those pills. I'm no longer dealing with any of that, and inflammation is gone, and I think some of the things too that are really critical to touch on. I didn't know anything about anything 6 months ago. I am no doctor, but I can certainly understand everything Dr. Jen was talking about now, and be able to learn and adapt, right, and change. It didn't take a whole lot of change for me. The protocol is fairly straightforward. Just follow what it tells you to do. Jen talked about fasting. That's definitely a part of my life these days. I mix it up. I do multi-day fasts. I do a 16/8. I do OMAD. So this way I'm keeping the body in a constant state of having to move and figure out what it wants, and I listen to it. And that has been life changing for me, and now where a year ago I was at a point, I was a custom home builder for a living, got so out of shape I could barely walk around the block. Now I can go for a 5 kilometer walk and, it's just another day, right? So I'm very appreciative. And I think the other thing too, beyond the product that's amazing, is the community. The community of people that we get plugged into that absolutely are genuine and care for us is, to me, worth the cost. And one last thing I want to add, you talked about cost. What does it mean for cost? So it can be a concern. It was for me because both my wife and I got on it. Her dealing with menopausal issues, some weight issues, and addiction. Mine was food addiction. That was the big problem, which I've been able to break free of. But the cost was, for me, paying out of pocket for my meds, $370 a month. And we're eating far less now. So just between my wife and I, we're down, roughly about $350 a month in food. So overall, somewhere in the neighborhood of about $700 a month that we're not consuming in medication and food now. So it's a win-win. We're in a net plus net zero, right? We're paying for the product on what we're saving and then putting money in the bank.
That's so awesome. And Gary, you said you have a picture to show us, right?
I do.
Okay.
So
Wow. Look at that
yeah,
transformation, guys. He is down 70 pounds, I believe I heard. Your A1C went from 10.2 to 5.5. Incredible. And you went from like food addict to food freedom, doing OMAD and intermittent fasting like it's a breeze. And that is gold, guys. I just want you guys to really take that in, because look at how much this system has transformed Gary. And think about how many other people are out there that are struggling just like him and need to know about this, right? Just keep that in mind, guys. I want to thank you so much, Gary. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing this story with us. I really do. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna actually add in now another person and to join us. We have Hibak. Hibak, I'm gonna add you onto the spotlight here. Okay, my friend Hibak, she's been on the system for like a year, 2 years now. I don't know, 2 years,
About a
right?
year and a half.
About a year and a half. I want her to share her story, how she came across it, what it did for her, and why you're excited about this right now. And she is also a registered nurse, travel nurse. Okay, so her schedule's crazy. She's always moving around, doing things here and there. So I'd love to hear from you.
For sure. Thanks for having me on. And thank you so much, Dr. Jen, for that amazing presentation. I learned so much. And yeah, my story is I met Rav and Kieran one day, and he was talking about these packets. And me and Rav, we just sat down together for a couple of hours. And I'm a huge science nerd, just like Dr. Jen. And we were just going through all the science and all the research. And initially, I was like, yeah, I'm not diabetic. I'm not cholesterol. I don't have high cholesterol. I don't know if I need this. So I ended up taking some other Unicity products that I had amazing results on. Fast forward, I started doing travel nursing, moved to Texas. And they say everything's bigger in Texas. So I know Canada does not have the best health food system either, but America is 10 times worse. We have the red 40, we have the yellow, the blue, the dyes, the high fructose corn syrup. So I actually ended up gaining 40 plus pounds within a year of moving to Texas. So at this point, I said, I remember about these products that I was taking on and off. Let me actually start taking this seriously and be consistent with it. And I'm also like a huge researcher. So I'm like, I wanted to completely get rid of anything outside factors that could be contributing to me losing weight. So I said, I'm not going to work out like crazy. I'm not going to eat too healthy. I'm just going to do what I've been normally doing. But all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add these two products in and see what happens. So I started taking the Unamate every morning before going to work, having my balance before meals, and the weight just started falling off, just like water. And I didn't see it at first. It was other people that noticed, and they were like, yo, you're losing a lot of weight. And I'm like, really? And I stepped on the scale, and that's when I realized I had lost over 40 pounds in the span of 6 to 7 months. And my brain fog was gone. I had so much energy. And I think this is important to say, because this system is not just for those who have diagnosed diabetes, who have cholesterol, who have mental issues, anxiety, depression. This system can help you even if you think you're relatively healthy or you just have a couple pounds to lose. You don't realize how unhealthy you are until you start feeling healthy for the first time, and you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know I could feel this good. So it's become a staple in my life. And I just like to touch on what Gary said and what Dr. Jen was saying, how we're taught in school that once you're type 2 diabetic, you can't reverse it. You're stuck with diabetes forever. You need to be on metformin for the rest of your life. Eventually increase that 500 milligrams of metformin. It becomes 1,000 twice a day. Before you know what, you're stuck on an insulin pump. You're taking insulin. And that doesn't have to be your story. You can completely reverse it. And it's so much more easier than you think. So thank goodness I was able to share this with friends and family. I've been able to get hundreds of people off of their diabetes medication, off of their cholesterol medicine, and it's completely shifted my paradigm. So it's been really amazing. I'm going to be taking this for a long time, for the rest of my life, I think, because why not? Like, I feel so great, and I'm a foodie. I love traveling. I love trying different foods, and I don't want to have to restrict myself. If it means all I have to do is take this powder before I eat, it's a no-brainer. And cost, I save so much more money on groceries. I eat way less. So I'm actually saving money. So if you do the math, I think it's like under $2 a packet. That to me is an absolute no-brainer.
Yes, absolutely. Well said. Honestly, you nailed it, right?
Yeah.
Why stop something that's making you feel good? That's like
Mhm.
stopping to brush your teeth, right? You're not going to brush
Yeah.
your teeth anymore because they're clean. No, you're gonna. There's always a wear and tear. You eat food at regularly. You need to maintain that, right? You need to maintain that lifestyle. You need to maintain that health. And so, absolutely. And I think just a question that comes up usually is like, well, I mean, if I don't need to lose weight, am I going to lose weight? And I think that if you when you really understand what the system does, it's only going to help you lose weight that your body does not want to hold on to, right? So it's also helped a lot of people, and there's even some people on the call, if they want to chime in, that's helped them gain weight, right? Who are
Mhm.
struggling with gaining weight because their body was just not absorbing the nutrition from their food anymore. And so this allows you to absorb nutrition from your food better, which is again allowing you to gain the healthy weight, right? So this is not a weight loss system. This is a overall health system, right? That's what I like to call it. It's an overall health system. It's going to balance your body to its maximal performance. So thank you, Habak. I appreciate you sharing your story. Another woman who's gotten food freedom from the system. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's my before and after if anyone wants to see it.
Yes.
You can see it in my face.
Wow.
I have another one here. That was me just like a year ago.
Incredible. Incredible.
I got
Thank
my
you
body
so
back.
much.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Babak, for sharing that. Okay,
Of course.
I think we have time for one more. Let me get, let's see if we have Margie on the call. So she's new. Margie is new on the system. One second here. Margie, I want to add spotlight. There we go. I see you. There we are. Hi.
Hi.
Hey. So Margie's new on the system. It's been what, 2 weeks, I think?
Yeah, 11 days.
11 days on the system. So tell us, you've been watching for a while. You kind of got on the wagon, but then you didn't get on the wagon. Tell us your story. What happened?
So after 4 kids, each kid, the weight kind of piled on, tried everything. We did keto, Weight Watchers, low carb, no carb, pills, shakes, everything. And I was really at my wit's end. Everybody around me is doing GLP-1 meds and they're having successes. And I'm Googling everything and seeing all of the side effects and all the bad stuff that happens. And I'm like, that can't be the only way. And as I'm searching and I'm searching, Rav pops up. And I've seen Rav pop up and I've seen your stories pop up. And I'm like, all right, let's see. So I reach out and you've been like so supportive the whole way. I don't think if I had not had you kind of holding my hand that I would have been able to do this. So day one, food noise was gone. I can't even tell you. The drive-through waved as I went by, didn't even stop. And normally that's like the daily occurrence in the evening. So food costs definitely already down because we're not stopping. Late night binging isn't happening. I am not getting that midday slump. Just really excited. Lost 12 pounds in 11 days. My husband saw it, so I had some packs. I said, hey, why don't you try this journey with me? So he lost 5 pounds in 6 days. I saw my mom on Sunday. I said, you have to see what I've been doing. I said, taste this, because I was drinking it. I said, what do you think? She's like, oh, that tastes good. It was the ginger lemon. She's like, okay, let me see. She doesn't have a lot of weight to lose, but she says she has the midday slump. She told me this morning that 7 cups of coffee was her daily routine. She's down to 3 since Monday, and that was only day one. So
Wow.
she doesn't have a scale. I can't say anything with the weight for her, but yeah, she said she went from 7 cups to 3.
That's huge. And energy, guys, we know how much a big problem is out there with people's energy levels, right? People are struggling with their energy levels. They're so drained all the time. The fact that she had to lean on 7 coffees a day That's wild to me. That's crazy. But I'm so glad that she's down to 3 now with the help of the system. And hopefully we can help her kick that habit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Margie. Oh my gosh. How much can happen in 11 days, guys? Just think about that. Not only did Margie's health start to transform, but so did her husband's and now her mom. Like, think about that, guys. We have so many people around us that need our help, that need us to just open up our mouths and say, you need to try this. You need to see what this is all about and see how it can benefit you. Thank you so much, Margie, for sharing. I'm gonna thank you so much again. And I'm gonna actually flip over here. And let's actually field a few questions in the chat because I think we have some time. Let me see. 1 second. We got a few minutes left. So let's field some questions. Is there any questions in the chat box that we want to, any pressing questions? Just type it in the chat real quick. What changes did Margie make? She just added the system. That's it. Just added the system in. This is not about changing your diet, guys. This is not about changing your lifestyle. This is just once you start adding in what's missing in your nutrition, you're going to start to feel better. You're not going to feel the cravings. You're not going to feel the hunger. You're not going to feel the food noise, and it's not going to get you to snack. Patricia is asking about what are the ingredients? Is it all natural? Dr. Jen, is it all natural?
Yes, it's plants. This is food, guys. This is good stuff. And it's gluten-free, it's vegan, it's got all the stamps of approval, the million different things that you see on the natural, but we actually have an amazing plant-based product. So yes, and you're gonna get stevia as your sweetener. You're not gonna get some of those other sweeteners that can actually raise your insulin levels.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone was asking about how many Unimates you can take in a day. Our system recommends 2, but we've had people drink up to 4 in a day. What are your thoughts, Jen?
Same. I've heard the same thing. I'll have people use 3 consistently without any kind of issue. This is not crazy amount of caffeine, and it's not something that gives you a quick caffeine burst and crash.
Yeah. And also people who usually do more than 2 tend to do longer fasts as well. So it really helps support their fasting. We just, let people know, hey, if you're going to be doing long fasting, just add some electrolytes, right? Just that's the only thing you'll be missing, just some extra salt. So it'll help you, prolong that fast a little longer as well. Okay, the questions are really coming in. Any specific recommendations for someone who's about to try the products who want to gain weight? Hey, Sean, that's a really good question. The best thing is that if they want to gain healthy weight, okay? Because there's like the what's it called? The dirty bulk, right? And then there's the clean way of bulking. Now, by adding the system, they're going to get the clean bulk, right? So just make sure that you just add the tools in. They're going to be able to preserve muscle mass. They're going to be able to build that muscle mass a lot better when your body's more insulin sensitive. Think about it. Your muscles get insulin resistant as well. And so if you are not giving your body time to bring your body back to sensitive levels in your insulin, you're not going to be able to build that muscle. So what's the point, right? So we want to be able to build that insulin sensitivity first, then think about gaining that weight. Okay, it will really support that. So I hope that answers your question. And Jen, do you have anything to add on that?
No, it sounds great. You
Yeah.
got it, girl.
Yeah. So caffeine sensitive people, how do you recommend they take the system? That's a great question. I used to be caffeine sensitive, so I can definitely feel that question for you guys. So I used to be that person that would get anxiety and panic attacks off of a cup of coffee. Like it was that sensitive for me. So what I would do is the Unimate itself, if you really look at the caffeine content in the Unimate, it doesn't work the same as coffee caffeine. It doesn't. You don't get the spike and crash. You actually get a more gradual release because of just the other components that are in the Unimate that make it break down a lot slower. So you're not going to get the spikes and the crash and the heart palpitations and that kind of thing. Now, if you are drinking it fast, you might. Okay, the reason is you're like chugging something down when it should be sipped on like a tea. So treat it like a tea, sip on it, and the longer you prolong it throughout the day, the better you're going to feel on it. That's how I feel about the caffeine sensitivity. Okay, and then I think I know we have lots of questions.
There's a lot of questions about inflammatory bowel diseases and about autoimmune diseases. And what I like to tell you about that is when you add this sort of system, you're going to take down inflammation. That includes gut inflammation, that includes overall body inflammation. When you're adding something like the balanced fiber, okay, people with the inflammatory bowel diseases are afraid of fiber. This is only 4 grams of fiber. This is like eating a bowl of broccoli. If your doctor okays that you can eat a bowl of broccoli, and I've never met a person who can't, all right, then you can have the balance. So please don't freak out about that. This is not some insane, crazy fiber supplement. Yes, is it potent? Yes, does it work very well? And add new food into your body slowly. Whether you're an autoimmune person or you're an inflammation person, whether it's inflammatory gut or any kind of inflammatory disease, go slow. Introduce the balance slowly, introduce the tea slowly, and just see how you feel and go up nice and slow.
Exactly. Love it. Well said, Jen. All right, guys, it's time to close off the call. So I'm just going to actually let you know what's happening next, on our schedule. So if you found value from tonight's call, thank you, Dr. Jen. You are amazing. We love you so much. If you found some value from tonight's call, give Dr. Jen some love in the chat box. Give her some love. Send her some hearts or something, because she did incredible. We learned so much from her.
Thank you.
We learned so much from you. And I just want to let you guys know what's coming up next, because here's the reality, right? We can only help so many people ourselves, right? We can only help so many people for ourselves. And here you have a product line that works better than medications in most cases without the side effects. And if you understand anything about what to look for in a business, in an opportunity, you would know that when you solve a big problem, when you add value in people's lives in a major way, money follows, wealth follows. So if you see power to that, you know that there are people all around you that are struggling. You want to keep that in mind tomorrow, okay? As one of our partners, John Hedges, okay, will be hosting our business overview call, okay? John actually used to be part of the corporate side of Unicity, right? Prior to joining this business. Okay, now he will be sharing why he chose to leave a steady, well-paying corporate job to pursue a business like this. How in his first year, he's been able to build a multi-million-dollar business while transforming thousands of lives along the way. So he's going to show you how you can help build an online business that allows you to generate cash flow without debt, no overheads, no employees, none of the headaches that you would find in a traditional business. You can build it online from your home in your off hours, and you can also get that gratification of knowing that you're making a difference in people's lives. You're making a difference in this world. So if you are looking to add an additional income stream or even replace your current income while helping people, get back to the person who invited you to this call. Get the link for Thursday, for tomorrow. Same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And if you're just here, you're like, I'm sold on this product. I want to try it myself. Great. Get back to the person who invited you on this call. Get whatever questions you have answered, because they probably have all the answers for you. And get started on the system, because why wait? Why wait to feel great, guys? And yeah, with that being said, guys, let's just end this call, I guess, right? Like, love you guys, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining us. And
Thank you.
yeah.
Been nice. Nice seeing everybody.
Good night. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.